Yeah. Big J. Big J TV, man. You know what I mean? No unk, no feud today. But we are sliding through, man. I gotta give you the content. I gotta give y'all the presentation. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, man. Anybody watching, I want you to smash that like button. As you come in, we're about to vibe today. We're about to talk some football as we get ready for week 18, man. I don't know. I know it's crazy. My hair looking crazy. I forgot. I don't even know where my pick is, man. I gotta get. I might have to use my little half a pick on it. You know what I mean? But appreciate y'all for sliding, man. Smash that like button as you come in to support your boy. I gotta see my barber real soon. Get myself right. Appreciate y'all for sliding, man. We gotta talk about it. Let's talk about it, and we have to talk about it. Not even a hesitation, bro. Smash that like button as y'all come in or y'all watching the replay. Smash the like button on the replay, man. It's Big J TV, bro. We gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta do what we gotta do. So this will not be a long podcast or at least live stream. We're gonna just straight up talk about the facts. And what are the facts? Okay. The facts is yesterday we saw two very good matches, man. Two very good competitive. I say it was competitive, man. I say the Bengals beating the Steelers, man. Right? And if people were watching the game, I watched parts of the game. I didn't watch the full thing. But these guys, Joe Burrow, right? Jamar Chase and Trey Hendrickson have been balling, man. And it was very surprising that the reason that the Bengals won, really, right? The reason the Bengals won again was that defense. The Bengals, I think, are on a 4 or 5 game winning streak, something crazy like that. But peep how they won. They won through a defensive battle. They won a defensive battle, y'all. 19-17. These are the type of games the Bengals have been winning, man. They've been winning tight contests, or at least contests that are going down to the very wire, bro. So, in my opinion, I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the Bengals like, damn, this is what y'all doing? Yes, that's what they're doing. So, Joe Burrow, 227 yards, one touchdown, one pick. So keep in mind, he's still getting interceptions. He's messing up sometimes. You had Russell Wilson on the other end. That offense in Pittsburgh is not going. It's not going. It's not going. It's not going. And it's looking like a one and done. And I'm being honest with y'all, a one and done. What is a one and done? I'm saying that whoever the Steelers face in the first round, there's a high chance that they're going to lose to that team. Why are they going to lose to that team? They're going to lose to that team because they are on a losing streak. That's why my Baltimore Ravens won the division yesterday. My team won yesterday, right? And let me tell you this. If I have some water to parch myself. If the Steelers had won yesterday, right, the Denver Broncos would be in and it would have been all completed, all done. But because the Bengals won yesterday and finished the season at 9-8, they have an outside chance of coming to the playoffs. You might be asking, Jay, what are you talking about? How can they make the playoffs? Okay, well, let's do this. Let me help y'all out. Look at this. Look at this. These are the NFL's Week 18 clinching scenarios from CBS. USA Today. All right. I don't know. I forgot who the author is. I believe his name is Nate Davis. This is the article. I might even put the article in the chat for those that are interested. You know what I mean? If you're watching the replay, you'll see it right there. It's in the chat. Uh, here's what it is. So here are the scenarios that need to happen for week 18 for clinching scenarios or playoff clinching scenarios. Cincinnati Bengals clinch the playoffs by Denver losing or Miami lost or tied. All right. Who are the Denver Broncos playing? They're playing the Chiefs. Right? And I mean, let me break it down like this. Carson Wentz. Yes, this guy. He is the starting quarterback, bruh. They have to rely on Carson Wentz, meaning the Bengals have to make sure that this guy pulls off some magic, and they also have to rely on this old nigga. They have to rely on this guy to show up and beat this guy. No, not the Jets version. No, we need the Packers version of this guy. Right? So for me, I look at it like this: what is the likelihood to happen? I think the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs. I've already called it. I think the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs. I think it's over. It's over for the Bengals, right? But there's a chance. There's a chance to win. But because Denver, they get in the play. Because what would have to happen? Denver would have to be kicked out of the potential playoff scenario. Because Denver is still in right now. So if Denver wins, they're already in the playoffs. Miami, they would need to win, and Denver needs to lose for them to get in. So this really hinges again on this guy because the Chiefs are playing the Bengals, right? And really, if we're being 100% real, on the second place for Rookie of the Year, Bo Nix. So we're looking at a scenario where we have to see if Bo Nix is going to show up. So let's read the rest of the scenario. It says Detroit clinches NFC North and NFC's number one seed, first round bye and home field advantage with mm, a win or tie. Right? Minnesota does the same thing with a win. They don't need a tie, they just need to win. I think the strength of schedule gets in placement or something like that, something about the tie. But I'm telling you, that game is going to be absolutely fantastic. So Atlanta clinches NFC South with win, right? So Atlanta has to win, and Tampa has to lose for Atlanta to clinch the NFC South. But Tampa Bay has to win. Huge, huge game for the NFC South, which has been a horrible division. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just have to win and they're in. They control their destiny in a sense, right? Not necessarily true with Atlanta, man. Atlanta has to not only win, but they need some luck too. Because the Buccaneers are playing the Saints, who are 5-11. Horrible record, y'all. Horrible. They're gonna be drafting up high, right? So let's go back to the main thing, right? The main thing is George Pickens, who has been an enigma all season. All season. He'll have an amazing, crazy game, 100 some yards, 6, 7 receptions, just out of this world. And then he'll do what he did yesterday. What did he do yesterday? Nothing. Oh, my bad. He dropped a lot of passes. That's not gonna go, family. That's not gonna go, man. And the thing that's wrong that annoys me about a guy like Pickens is that he is actually he has the skills and tools and talents to be great, to be great, but he doesn't put it together on a consistent basis. This is his third season. I know I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. As much as we like to clown and make jokes and say all this, Antonio Brown, AB was somebody who maximizes talent and potential on the football field. On the football field, he maximized and pushed it to the limit, man. Like some of the seasons he had as a receiver, oh my God, ungodly, ungodly. What you're seeing from Jamar Chase over here, that was like, I'm gonna be real with you. AB was doing that every year for like 6 years straight, man. Crazy, crazy. He's a Hall of Famer. I'm gonna be real with you. He's a Hall of Famer. He's not gonna get in, but he's basically a Hall of Famer, man. Right? So what's happening now is that when you have a guy with such immense physical gifts as Pickens, and for him not to put it together against a secondary from, let's be real, man, the Bengals secondary ain't nothing. The Bengals secondary is booty cheeks, butt cheeks, man. Revolt, let's be real right now. right? And for him to have zero catches. Now look, I will be real with you, right? Fryermuth, Fryermuth, the tight end for the Steelers, he had a chance for them to win the game for them, right? Huge, huge opportunity. It looked like a slant or maybe an in route. You know what I mean? 10 yard, maybe a post. Fryermuth could have caught that ball and took it to the house, man. He could have took it to the house. Who's Fryermuth? This guy, their tight end for the Steelers. He's been there for quite a few years, right? And the implication, I think they would have higher seeding if the Steelers had, won that game. But what it looks like, I think, I'm not 100% sure. It depends what happens later today. Is that the Steelers are going to probably face the Ravens in the first game of um of the playoffs, man, in the wild card round, man. And that's going to be a big test because let's be real, man. My Ravens was smashing them, man. They were smashing them, and that's a concern. But you know what's not a concern? Let me tell you what's not a concern. The MVP, we sold that up. We sold that up. It's sold up, y'all. Mm. I don't know what Google has as this picture. Like who in the hell is? Wait, maybe it disappeared or something like that. Anyways, whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What is Google? This is not Lamar Jackson, man. This is AI. What the hell's going on? You know what I mean? And it's really upsetting when you see AI. It doesn't even look like Lamar, but it looks like a real person. I just don't like it. I don't like how they be using AI these days. It is what it is. That's Lamar Jackson, though. Crazy, 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 fantastic game by Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Started off by a Nate Wiggins pick six. I'm telling you right now, man, the Cleveland Browns need to just they need a lot, man. And Miles Garrett, I think he's gonna leave very, very soon. But regardless of that, man, you know what I mean? 217 yards from Lamar passing, two touchdowns passing. You know what I mean? 16 for 32. I'll be real. In the first half, there was some attempts that were on and off. The passing game was not as great as it could have been. But guess what? That doesn't matter because we here for the birthday boy. You know what I mean? And who the birthday boy? Derrick Henry, y'all. Derrick Henry, King Henry, did his MF and thing. 20 carries, 138 yards, two touchdowns, dominated the game. And you know what is crazy is because in the first half of the football game, King Henry was actually very bottled, very contained by that Browns defense. Second half, flip the switch. And I have to give my shout out to Todd Monken, man. Todd Monken, what he was able to do was use Derrick Henry in the second half a lot more. When I'm telling you, Todd Monken, I think might get a coaching job within the near future because he was able to successfully make this offense go, balancing the run and the pass. I think some crazy stat of the Ravens are the first team to, pass for 4,000 yards and rush for 3,000. That's incredible. That's incredible. And why is that? Because Derrick Henry, okay, has had 1,900, yes, 1,900 rushing yards on 330 and 25 carries, 19, 21, 16 touchdowns to go along with it. He could have had actually more touchdowns throughout the season. I think he also had some receiving. So some receiving touchdowns. Maybe let me check out the stat game. But regardless of this, how much did he get in the passing game? Two more in the passing game. So he got 18 touchdowns in total. Fantastic. Fantastic, man. If your running back is giving you that level of production, you're going to win a lot of games. And you have to keep in mind, the Ravens played an insane strength of schedule, man. Like let me show y'all, man. Like people like are not gonna acknowledge this, but a lot of the games that the Ravens played were against teams that were actually on fire. Let's look. They played the Chiefs, playoff team. Raiders and Cowboys and Bills, playoff team. Two playoff teams so far. We're on week 4. Bengals, potential playoff team. Okay, so let's just X them out. Let's say they play two. Commanders, playoff team, four. Buccaneers, playoff team, five. Browns don't matter. Broncos don't matter. Bengals again, that's a fifth playoff team. Steelers, seven playoff team. No, right? My bad. Six playoff team. Chargers, playoff team. Now that's seven. Eagles, playoff team, eight. What? Giants, Steelers, playoff team, nine. Texans, 10. Browns, okay. So 10 out of 17 of their games were with playoff teams from either the previous year or teams that are going into next year or this season. They played 10 playoff teams, y'all. Strength of schedule, y'all. Let me tell you something, man. Lamar, like it says in the article here, found the 4,900 club. Like, I don't know why people have to. I'm not, when I say this, I'm not here to diminish Josh Allen at all, man. Like, I got respect for Josh Allen. I can see why Josh Allen is an MVP candidate and what he's been able to do specifically against, you know, the Chiefs. You know what I mean? What he's been able to do versus this is definitely not Josh Allen. I don't know who this is. What he's been able to do versus a lot of teams, man. But this point is null and void when you're talking about what Lamar has done statistically this season. Now, Josh Allen has the better record. I'm not going to take that away from Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I think overall has had a weaker schedule other than Detroit and the Chiefs, right? And I think what's happened is a lot of voter fatigue, right? So I think betting odds have Josh Allen winning the MVP. I like Josh Allen. I have no problem with bro. But my thing is, why are we in a society where we're doing things for pity? My thing is, why are we rewarding mediocrity, man? I mean, why are we rewarding people for just doing enough and not doing the most? That's my problem here. My problem is Josh Allen, he has every right to win the MVP, but I think Lamar had a better season. So these are just facts. Look at the math, look at the statistics. And I look at it like this. Why would me, if I was Josh Allen, right? Why would I want to have a pity MVP? Right? So Ryan Clark a while ago said that Josh Allen would be like a Charles Barkley MVP. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Charles Barkley, when he won the MVP, he deserved it. He deserved it, right? So he won it in 1993, right? Though shorter than the typical power forward, he used his strength and aggression to become one of the NBA's best rebounders and scorers. Barkley was an 11-time NBA All-Star, 11-time member of the All-NBA team, and the 1993 Most Valuable Player. He was named on the NBA's 50s and 60th teams, right? So let me explain to you that Charles Barkley. Let's look up the stats, man. In 1993, when he won the MVP, right? Dude was averaging 25, 12 and point two boards, 5 assists, 1.6 steals a game. He was hooping, and I think that's when he made it to the finals in '93 as well versus Jordan and the Bulls. This was not a fluke. I believe the Suns had a crazy record that year. You know what I mean? And that was here's some of the statistics. You know what I mean? He won MVP off 835 points, but also Hakeem. Hakeem had a great season. Actually, let me pull this up so y'all can see it even bigger. And Jordan won. Jordan was third, by the way, in the MVP voting. Right. And it wasn't because people were fatigued by Jordan's, type of play, but it was just because in general. Jordan was not as efficient or as good as Barkley that season, right? So it wasn't a pity MVP. So whenever Ryan Clark said that, I didn't really buy it. I didn't really clock it. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm thinking if Josh Allen is to get this MVP, I don't even think this is one of his best seasons. You know what I mean? He's had better seasons. Now the difference is he's not turning the football over. By the way, congratulations on his engagement. I think that's affected his play slightly, right? He's not throwing, pump footballs or whatever Dan Orlovsky likes to say. You know what I mean? So just my thing is, I don't know. I don't like the Josh Allen discussion. Um, they pit them against each other on some media manipulation ish, where they're trying to make Lamar and Josh Allen have a beef or have problems. I think Lamar and Josh Allen actually like each other, and they're just competitors, man. They're competitors. They're trying to win, and obviously they're trying to do something that they haven't done. But either one of them is beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. It's a fact. Mahomes has been destroying them in the playoffs, man. Regular season, Josh Allen fares pretty well with him. Regular season, Lamar fails actually very bad against him. But in the playoffs, that's what matters, because the fact remains is there's only one guy who's consistently actually beat Mahomes in the playoffs, and that's Joe Burrow. And he has a claim to some MVP votes because he's leading the league so far in yards. I think 4,700 and 43 passing touchdowns. That's leading the league, right? Only problem is his team is 9-8. It's on some Drew Brees ish. And I like Joe Burrow. I hope that he does well. I don't want to see him in the playoffs because he performs really well under pressure, and I believe that's what's been evading Lamar Jackson as a playoff performer, right? My thing is, having somebody like Derrick Henry helps him a lot. And when you look at just the structure of the league now, it's the return of the power running back, or at least the power running scheme. All right. And that's why I think he should have won the MVP. Sorry, not the MVP, the Russian League title. No, I'm not playing. Get in the comments, or at least get in the chat. Maybe not the chat, but at least get in the comments and let me know if Nick Sirianni should have let him play. By the way, we have some commentary here from Eric Dixon.
It's Eric Dixon. I love running backs. I'm a running back. My favorite boy, brother, know your football. First of all, it's Eric Dixon. I love running backs. I'm a running back. My favorite player was O.J. Simpson. I've always said O.J. did it in 14 games. I did it in 15, one extra game. I would never hate up another running back. That's not me. So, like I said, know your history about running backs. Of course, if he broke the record, brother, I ain't gonna lose no sleep over that. But am I cheering for somebody to break my record? No, I'm not. I don't think anybody does. If you have a record and you want somebody to break it, that's on you. I'm different. I'm old school. You know how hard it is to get a record? Very hard. I'm a Saquon Barkley fan. I never thought he'd reach his full potential in New York. I'm glad to see him in Philadelphia. I'm glad to see him get 2,000 yards. So don't say I'm hating on running backs. If you know your history, look up what I said about OJ. OJ had it in 14. I did it in 15. That's why I played the running back position. So I'm just replying to your so-called diss of me. So, bro.
So Ocho, I believe, not Ocho, sorry, Shady, on the facility, which I don't like as a football program. It's kind of weak. You know what I mean? Basically called out Eric Dickerson as a hater towards Saquon Barkley regarding that rushing title. And if you don't know the facts, or at least what's going on, Saquon Barkley won't be playing versus the Giants today. They want to give him some kind of rest in order to get ready for the next playoff game, which would be I believe next week. Yeah, next week they're playing, right? So, right, Saquon, I think, is a real team sport. He said something really kind about, you know what I mean, that position. I'm gonna try to find the video, but I believe personally that Saquon is a very classy individual. And I think low key deep down, I think he wanted to. I think he wanted to actually play in that game, right? Get the Eric Dixon record because the man was about 100 some yards away, right? So what we're looking at is an individual who could have passed Eric Dickerson. Now, Eric Dickerson himself is not happy because ED wants to keep that record. Here's the truth about it. When you have something like the rushing record, you get a lot of money from trade shows or like signed memorabilia, right? Like let's say Eric Dickerson goes to a huge convention, right, where he gets to sign autographs, jerseys, footballs, and all that. The fact that Eric Dickerson, one, is a Hall of Famer, Eric Dickerson has the rushing title, his memorabilia and his fee is higher. So remember a few weeks ago when Brett Favre, right, was confronted by Mark Gastineau, right? What happened was Mark Gastineau confronted him because uh, Brett Favre again had kind of given the sack record, given himself up to Michael Strahan to have the sack record. Who had the sack record prior? Obviously, Mark Gastineau. Mark Gastineau, I believe right now, and him and Brett, I believe are at a signing convention type show. So Mark Gastineau, even himself, money wise, was not able to monetize himself or his fame due to that event that happened, I believe, in the early 2000s, right? So, yes, there's a lot of money on the line for something like that. Now, look, Saquon Barkley becomes the eighth or maybe ninth player to reach 2,000 yards, man. You know what I mean? But his goal, right? Like Nick Sirianni said, is to win a championship. At this point, y'all better win. Y'all better win it all, brother. You had that man who was doing ungodly things on the football field. And when I say ungodly things on the football field, y'all already know what play I'm talking about. That reverse huddle, a hurdle. You know what I mean? All types of amazing ish on that football field. For what? Well, it better be a championship. It better be a damn championship. Because look what he put up this year, man. Look at this. Mm, absolutely phenomenal. 345 attempts, 2,003 yards. Fantastic. An 8.5 average per carry, 13 touchdowns. I think he has some more. That's more in the passing game too. I just look at it like this, man. You know, this man deserves the Russian title. We need to stop playing in their faces, man. We need to stop playing in their faces. Saquon deserves it, and he's a consummate professional. He handles himself very, very well. You don't catch him in mess or drama, any nonsense. The man either has an elite team covering him, or he just is like that. He's just a gentleman. He's somebody who does things the right way. You know what I mean? And for the stupid Giants, and I have a homie of mine who's a Giants fan, and I keep trolling him anytime Saquon does amazing things. Yeah, the Giants, they fumbled. We're not here to sugarcoat it. They fumbled, man. It is what it is. We're not here to play games with you. You fumbled and you lost it. By the way, the Tennessee Titans too, they fumbled. They're about to start drafting real soon. Fumbled, man. And my thing is, right, that is such a franchise changing move. The Giants, I believe, are like 4-11, something crazy. They won last week, which is shocking. They are horrible as a football team. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be some time before they have any other kind of relevancy. You know what I mean? And that's why. I'll be real with you. The Detroit Lions are so impressive to me, man. The Detroit Lions are a team that's been so cheeks. I'm using better language all my life watching football. Like these past 2 seasons, I've seen them actually be competitive. And to think by the end of today, they could clinch a number one seed in the NFC, that is absolutely insane. And the thing is, you know what I mean? Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, that combo has really taken them far. And I'd say more so Jameer Gibbs. Their defense has been hurt a lot recently, which I personally think is the reason they won't go far. But goddamn, man, this is gonna be a fantastic game. We're talking about Minnesota Vikings versus the Detroit Lions, man. Right? In my mind, I think Minnesota's gonna win. They're like on a 5 or 6 game winning streak, something crazy like that. Sam Darnold's balling out of control. I think the road to the Super Bowl, the NFC side is going to be through Minnesota. But trust me, Lions ain't going down without a fight. The Lions gonna fight now. You know what I mean? They're not gonna. They're not just gonna lay there and take it. No diddy, right? So for me, let's look up the lines and spreads. Right? I'm getting here, but we gonna. I'll handle the lines and spreads today. What are the odds for Week 18? And we're gonna talk about the biggest game, obviously. You know what I mean? If y'all watching the replay, let me know if I got my ish right or wrong. Biggest game. Ooh, crazy. Lions are favored -3, 56.5 points. I'm going to go the under because I think this might be a defensive game. Brian Flores is going to shine. I think both teams have a chance of getting a takeaway. Do the Lions cover the spread? I say yes. I say yes. It's going to be decided by 1 or 2 points. I don't think it's going to be covered by more than 3. It's going to be a tight game. I'm say y'all put some money on the Vikings now. I'll put some money line on the Vikings now. You know what I mean? Um, do they cover the spread as well? I think they could. I think they could. I think it's going to be a tight game, but I definitely take the under. I definitely would take the under. Now, why is that? When you're looking at a 56 and a half type of line, over under, there's an assumption it's going to be like a 27, 32, you know what I mean? Or something in that range, right? Or maybe like a 31, 28, something like that. You're looking at a line, an over, under that's, somebody's in 30s, somebody's in the 20s. I think they're both going to be in their 20s and they're both going to be underneath 55. What am I talking about? I can see a 22 damn near 27 game, right? 22, 27. It's going to be like 52 or something like that. You know what I mean? My math might be off. Doesn't matter. It's not going to reach 56. I personally don't think that because when you have major matchups like this, sometimes they tend to be underperforming, man. You're going to see a defensive battle. I think another narrative that we're not going to be talking about, or at least, you know, it's something that we need to keep in mind. Ben Johnson. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the Ben Johnson who was cheating in the Olympics. Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, he, I'm not saying he's distracted. I'm saying that he's probably fielding a lot. His agent is probably fielding a lot of calls from Chicago, fielding a lot of calls from potentially the Jets, from a lot of people. I'm saying there's been an overhype for this guy, and I'm not like for me. I do respect what the Giants, not Giants, sorry, the Lions have done on offense, but bruh, I think him versus Brian Flores is the easiest decision of all time. The Minnesota Vikings defense, man, it has been the unsung story on this entire, run. I think Flores has proved his value, especially as a leader for a specific unit, specifically a defensive unit. And what you see in Miami's defense has been absolutely garbage, quiet as kept. Well, guess what? You get rid of a defensive head coach. That's what happens typically. Look at the Dallas Cowboys, man. Dan Quinn left. That defense is hot doo doo. And if my boy Sleepy Euphoria is watching, I'm roasting your team yet again. Talking about the Detroit Lions, though, there's a chance that Zeke Elliott might be joining them. There's been rumors of that. So, do you think that he would work in a Ben Johnson offense? Who knows? Who knows? I'll tell you like this: Jameer Gibbs, right, has been a fantastic running back this season. And if the Lions are to win tonight, it's going to be on his back. It's going to be on his back. He has been playing phenomenal football, and I think that when you look at the Detroit Lions, if the Lions are to win, they're going to stomp out Minnesota's linebackers and defensive line. My bet is that won't happen. I got Minnesota winning. I got the under, and I see them covering the spread as well. So keep that in mind in terms of that. An interesting matchup, right? That I think would be very, 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 very big, right? I think has betting implications. Chiefs versus Broncos, man. They got the Broncos 10.5. It's a huge line. The over under is 40 and 40.5. I'm gonna say something a little surprising. I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take the over because this is a divisional game, y'all. This is a divisional game, and I think it's gonna be a lot tighter than people think. Chiefs are gonna rest their starters, but I'm telling you right now, Andy Reid is not going to lay over and not coach. He's gonna coach. I think Broncos cover the spread, obviously, but I still think that this, 40.5, I don't think that would go. I'll go with the over, man. I'll definitely go with the over. I see this 27, maybe even in the 30s for the winning opponent. But nah, 10.5 for the Broncos. It's a wild line, my boy. Wild, 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 wild. I'll say it like this. I'll say it like this. Now, I'm not saying that this has any massive impact, but with so much turmoil going on with the Dolphins, the Jets, let me actually check this. I'm not even sure if is Tua playing today? Because what we saw last week with Snoop, you know what I mean? Tyler Huntley was pretty impressive, bro. You know what I mean? So, at least from what it's saying here, Tua doubtful with hip injury. Okay, let's see what NFL.com is saying. Hmm. Hmm. So this is a report from Ian Rappaport. He's their NFL insider. Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is unlikely. Oh, okay, this is huge. To play in Sunday's must-win game against the New York Jets due to a unique hip injury which is affecting the surrounding muscles and therefore his strength and mobility, along with leaving him vulnerable for further injury, sources say. Okay. It's why Tonga Vailoa has been unable to gain the medical clearance he seeks to be on the field for a game that could potentially get Miami to the playoffs if Denver loses to the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. So it's a huge game. When Tonga Vailoa has pushed to play, while Tonga Vailoa has pushed to play, when his teammates need him the most, sources say it's not a given that the QB would be cleared next week, which is this week. If the will be next week, okay? If the Dolphins advance to the Super Wild Card weekend. Tagovailoa has not made public details of his injury, though he did say his past week that his general feeling is worse than how he felt a week after he had the ankle surgery during the his final season at Alabama in 2019. That gives an idea of the severity of pain he is enduring. Okay, so this hurts. Okay. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel said while it's in the same hip he had surgically repaired, also in Alabama 2019, it's a different injury. And currently it's a troubling one. Okay, that's huge. That is huge. That's huge because now you have Tyler Huntley under center. And this line makes a lot more sense now. You have over under 39.5. I don't know. I don't know if we can like that is a crazy number. That is a crazy number, man. It's basically a field goal game. You're basically betting on like a 14, damn near 17 type of game. Maybe like somewhere in the 20s and somebody's getting 17 points or 10 points. Oh man. My thing is I'll take the over. I'll take the over. And the Jets minus 1.5. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. This is tough. I think the Jets win outright, but I don't think they cover the spread. I think they go beyond this. I can see the Jets getting more than a field goal game. I think this could be. I don't think it's going to be as tight as we think, right? Because quiet as kept, I think this might be Aaron Rodgers' last game as a New York Jet, right? I think it is. I personally think him, Devontae are going to be shipped out of there in a package deal. They might, they might play in Minnesota, or maybe crash out and go to the Saints. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but regardless of that, man, um, I do not see. No, I see bigger than this. Don't take the spread. Go above and beyond. Jets outright, and also take the over. That's my point of view. We're gonna have a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. I'm not gonna do any overtime. I didn't do my research or anything major like that. But I'm thankful, man. From me to everybody who's been showing love, support, and mm, everybody who's been day one with it. I appreciate y'all more than you know, man. I'm confused signing out season MF and 3. If you're watching the replay, appreciate y'all. All right, man. We might be coming next season with some fire. It's Big JTV. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.